Indigenous Services Minister Patty Hajdu says she agrees with the recent assessment from Canada's Auditor General that her ministry has more work to do to ready First Nations communities for the impacts of climate change. According to the AG, there have been more than 1,300 environmental emergencies in First Nations across the country, including more than 580 evacuations affecting 130,000 people. Over the last 4 years, Indigenous Services Canada has spent about $828 million on emergency management supports, but $646 million of that was spent on response and recovery, compared to just $182 million on preparedness and mitigation. Hajdu says the challenge is that these climate emergencies keep happening and need to be addressed immediately.
How do you spend those astronomical sums in responding to climate while also trying to address, in the case of Indigenous infrastructure, this historic colonial legacy of a huge infrastructure gap to close, and oftentimes practices that drive to sort of the lowest quality infrastructure being built? And I'm talking about, for example, getting quotes that are really driving to cost effectiveness rather than effective and efficient and modern infrastructure that can withstand increased weather pressures.
The Auditor General says every $1 invested in preparedness and mitigation can save $6 in emergency response and recovery costs. As of this past April, 39% of eligible structural mitigation projects in First Nation communities were still waiting for government funding.